guys, so today I'm going to do another makeup tutorial for you. I had quite a lot of good feedback from the last one, so fingers crossed you'll like this one as well. This time it's going to be something very, very different from the summery look I did before. It's a sort of romantic gothic look, so we're looking at really, really dark smoky eyes, almost sort of wine red lips, just very dark colours but paired with the pale skin. So it's kind of almost like the old Victorian films you used to see of like vampires and all that sort of stuff, that kind of look. I want to really sort of romance it up a little bit and make it a nice and feminine smoky look. So I hope you will like this tutorial. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my matte primer. This is from number 7, it's the Beautifully Matte Makeup Base. This one I found works really, really well. I've tried a lot of different primers out, and because I have a combination skin tone like I know most people do, I find they don't tend to work as well. Whereas this one, it does tend to help my makeup stay a lot longer than it normally would. It's easy enough, it comes out as almost a creamy texture. And you just massage it into your skin, almost like you would with your moisturiser. Okay, so once you have done your primer, it's time to move on to concealing. I tend to use 2 different concealers. One is the Fake Up from Benefit, which I use around my eyes because it also has the hydrating ring in it. I think I've used this one in a video before. And I also use the Miss Sporty So Clear in 01 because I'm very pale, and I use this one on my blemishes because it's a lot thicker to hide those, and you really need a flawless complexion for this look. So pop it wherever you see any sort of blemishes or redness, anything you need concealing. Don't be afraid to be a bit liberal with it for this look. I don't tend to blend it in until I've got all of my concealer on. Now this time, sometimes I use a brush to blend it with. This time I'm just going to use my fingertips to gently massage it in. You can use a brush if you prefer, but I find this way helps me to get it into all the different spots that I need it, and then I can also see if I need to have a little bit extra over the top. Once you're all concealed, it's time to move on to using foundation. For day-to-day basis, I tend to use the Benefit Hello Flawless liquid foundation, but for this look I'm going back to an old favourite of mine, which is the number 7 Stay Perfect Compact Foundation. I'm in the shade Calico, which is again the lightest shade you can get. The perks of living in England, isn't it guys? This one comes with a handy little pad thing. Can never remember what these are called. Sponge. There we go. Sponge. And I'm just going to dab this one inside. It has a handy little mirror as well, and put it all over my face. I'm going to have quite a thick application of this one, so I'm going to do one layer and then another layer on top, which I wouldn't normally do because I'm not one that tends to go in for thick foundation, but like I said, this look does need to be fairly flawless. Now this one I tend to use more in the winter time because it does have a thicker formula to it, and it's also a slightly lighter shade than I am during the summertime, because obviously most people are a different colour in the summer to the winter due to tans and things like that. But this time it works quite well using it for the lighter shade, because you really want that contrast of the slightly paler skin with the dark eyes and the dark lips. Now foundation all done, I'm going to move on to a favourite of mine, which is the MAC Prep and Prime powder in translucent. This is the pressed powder. For this sort of look I would actually recommend using a loose powder, simply because it's easier to apply, plus then you, if you want to, you can try something like the is it the cooking method or the baking method? Let me know in the comment section, I can never remember what it's called. And just apply this one again all over your face. I would use a translucent powder rather than using a colour powder for this one, simply because of the sort of look it requires, because we're not going in for sort of bronze looks or anything for this one. It's literally just to set your foundation so you don't look shiny, because we don't like shiny faces. For this one we're not going to use a whole lot of contouring all over the face and loads and loads of blusher, because they don't tend to use loads of colour in these looks. So I am going to do just a tiny bit of contouring. I'm dropping all my makeup now, that's really helpful. a little bit of contouring just underneath my cheekbones, just to add a slight definition, but not a massive amount. So I'm going to use my trusty Chisel Cheeks contour kit from Barry M and my contour brush from Look Good, Feel Better. It's a new brand, it's one I haven't heard of, but it works quite well. It's very nice bristles on it. And I'm going to put the darkest shade from the contouring kit just underneath my cheekbones. So it creates a nice sharp angular look. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. If my hair would get out of the way. Do you find that the hair around your ears always gets in the way of your makeup? What a nightmare, eh? If you want, you can add a tiny bit on your forehead, just by where your temples are, to add a tiny bit more definition, because I have quite a round face, so I tend to need a lot of definition, whereas some of you might have quite sharp faces, which is perfect for this. I'm not going to put any highlighter on, simply because this isn't supposed to be sort of a glowy, dewy sort of look. It's very, very dark. Almost mysterious. We like mysterious. Now, in place of using a normal blusher, because normally I would use my, I haven't got it with me, but my number 7 blusher in, I think it's the shade of Honey. I think so. Instead, I'm going to use a colour from my Makeup Revolution makeup palette, which is the Acid Brights. And I'm going to use this, what seems like a really, really bright pink colour. It's not actually that bright when you put it on. But I'm just going to dab a little bit on my fingertip and pop it just on the apples of my cheeks and blend it. Blend, 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 blend. This one will use a lot of blending. But this helps to create that sort of dough-like flush that you need for this look. So make sure that you don't look too dark, but you still look almost ethereal in a way. I feel like I'm using lots of big words today. I like big words. Now, the last thing I'm going to do to prep my face before actually moving on to things like the eye makeup is my brows. Gotta have your brows done, so using Benefit's BrowZing. I love Benefit makeup. If you haven't checked it out before, you really need to check it out. I've done a little review of it on my blog. So head on over there and have a look at that. Just follow the natural line of your brows for this one. I would say if you have fairly light brows, make them slightly darker just for this look. Obviously, I have very, very dark brows anyway. That is brows all done, your makeup and face all ready. Now to move on to the eyes. Now, the first thing I'd recommend you use for a look like this is a really, really good eye primer. So I use the eye base primer from Calico. Just had this one through recently, and it is a new love of mine. So I'm just going to spread all over my eyelids and slightly up into my crease. And I'm going to put a little bit underneath my eyes as well, because we're going to be bringing the eye makeup down underneath your eyes. And you want to make sure it's going to stay. Because if half it rubs off, it doesn't look very good. Voila. 2 primed eyes. Now, I'm going to start in my inner corner with just this almost very light peach colour. It's from one of the Avon palettes, the Avon 8-in-1 eye palette. I really, really like Avon eye palettes actually. I think they're really good. They last a long time. They've got really good colours in them, and I think they're really good value for money. So definitely try out Avon if you haven't. Now this one is just going in that inner corner of my eye. It has a slight shimmer to it, which I love. If you've watched any of my previous videos or read my blog, then you will know I have such a thing for shimmer eyeshadows. It is unreal. Girl's got to have a hobby after all. Now over the whole lid of my eye, I'm going to use another Avon eye palette. What did I tell you? I love these. And I'm going to use this very matte plum colour, because then it's adding a bit more depth to the look. It's not keeping it just completely black, because that would be boring. So I'm going to use a nice sort of feathery brush. I really need to learn what brushes are called. Yeah. I'll work on that for my next video, guys. And I'm just going to dab that one in and put that one literally all over the lids of my eyes. This one has such a lovely pigmentation to it. I'm also going to bring it down just a little bit underneath these bottom lashes. So you can already see we're starting to darken the look of it. And I'm going to do the same on the other eye. Super duper easy. Adding different depth to the look. Now that one you can continue to darken if you want to, but I'm going to move on to another colour, which is this very, very matte black from the same Makeup Revolution palette. I'm going to start with using matte colours first, just because I find they can be a lot easier to work with if you make a mistake, whereas shimmer colours, the shimmer will always be there. So this one is going to go into the crease of my eye. I'm going to blend it all the way up into that plum colour. And then blend it out slightly. I'm also going to bring that one down a little bit to again join it up with that plum colour. If you want, at this point, you can feather out these dark edges ever so slightly, just to make them slightly less harsh. You can see I'm kind of winging out the eyeshadow ever so slightly. And it's good to keep checking back in your mirror to make sure that your eyes are matte. Now the next thing I'm going to use on my eyes is the number 7 Stay Perfect Shade and Define. In what colour is this? Black Shimmer. So as you can tell, there is a shimmer tone to it. It's almost like a pencil. I really like this one. And again, that one is just going to go in the corner of your eyes, right by your crease. So we're just deepening that black out in that outer corner. This one I'm not going to blend because I want it to be a nice sort of solid black. And I really like the shimmer in this one. Again, bringing it all the way down underneath your eyes. If you want a bit of a deeper look up at the top, you can add some more into your crease as well, but that bit I would blend ever so slightly. I thought adding the shimmer just makes it slightly more feminine rather than gothic or evil or vampire or, you know, anything like that, you know? I don't know what I'm saying. And do the same on the other side. Into the crease and bringing it down. Just deepen that colour so we're looking for a really nice dark look. Up into the crease. I feel like I can make a song out of this. And that is your eyeshadow done. So now we're going to move on to liner. Take a wild guess what colour liner we're going to use. That's right, we're going to use black. This one I'm going to use a liquid liner just because I find liquid liners can be a lot easier for looks like this. If you're not used to liquid liner, you can use one of the felt tip liners you can get. I wouldn't say to use a pencil liner for this one because I don't feel like you can get as precise clean lines because we're going to be winging it out. So start with just on your upper lid. I tend to do the whole of my lid first and then go on to doing the wing. Normally I would say do not use liquid eyeliner on your bottom of your eye. Certainly don't put it on your waterline because it will sting your eye like crazy. But This is just going to give you a sharper line. I'm going to join it up at the inner corner. So you can already see that's giving this eye slightly more definition. So then I'm going to come back and I'm going to wing it out. If you can, I would say do a really dramatic wing for this one. Because now's the time to experiment, because they're not going to see the eyeliner as much. Because it's just an extra layer of definition within the eyeshadow. And then do exactly the same on your other eye, because we're going in for a dramatic look. And there's the eyeliner all done. Now the last thing for the eyes is I'm going to use two different mascaras. You can use false lashes if you want. In fact, I would say false lashes could be good for this sort of look to help with the dramatic big eyes. But I just want to stick with mascara for today. So I'm using the Benefit They're Real in black. And I'm also using a little tester I've got of the No. 7 Intense Volume. So I'm going to use the They're Real first, and then use the Intense Volume on top to try and open up my eyes a bit more. The trick for this look is to try and capture every single one of your little lashes. Then I'm going to move on to my Intense Volume. And that is your eyes all done. So now your eyes are all done, we're going to move on to doing lips. I couldn't decide exactly what colour I wanted to use for this one, so I've chosen two. They are both No. 7. If you haven't checked out No. 7 lipsticks, you really need to. They are fantastic. They do a really good selection of matte or gloss, and they stay for such a long time. The two colours I've chosen is the Moisture Drench in Sugar Plum, and I've also chosen the Stay Perfect in... is it Love Red? Yes, in Love Red. I'll show you the two colours first of all. So I'm going to start with my Plum, just around the outside of my lips. I would definitely say use matte colours. See, I've brought that slightly into the centre of my lips. Now I'm going to go over that one with my red colour from No. 7. This is kind of a blue red, so it's got the blue undertones to it, which means it's not going to be ridiculously bright. And this one's going to go all over my lips. So having the plum colour underneath helps to link it up with the eyes, but I find it also helps to darken the red slightly and create a different look to it. So there we have it. Your gothic romantic look. If you like this video, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up and click subscribe. Also check out my blog, Fun Fashion and Things. I'll put the link to it down below, and give me a little comment, tell me what you think. If you want to see any other looks, let me know. But thank you for watching.